The Boston Celtics closed out the Atlanta Hawks. Now will face off against the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Oh yeah, the Knicks and Heat are also playing in a second round somewhat series. This is Hoop Talks. What is up, boys and girls, children of all ages and adults watching all across the world? This is Hoop Talks. I'm Justin Pooni. It's an Unhinged Friday today.
Yes.
Noor Zainab, Jelani Goodridge-Reid. Guys, last night was the NFL draft.
This guy's unhinged.
The Maple Leafs played last night, but also the Boston Celtics made Janet Jackson wait an extra night because she postponed her thing because they beat the Atlanta Hawks, closed them out last night at State Farm Arena, 128-120. The Killer Jays balled out. Jason Tatum had 30 points, 11 of 20 shooting, had 4 3-pointers. Jalen Brown had 32 points, 13 of 25 from the field, and had 6 3-pointers. Marcus Smart chipped in with 22, and Malcolm Brogdon had 17 off the bench. Trae Young did have a very impressive game. 30 points. DeJounte Murray chipped in with 14. But, guys, it is now curtains. It is over for the Atlanta Hawks. Noor, let me start off with you because you are the Celtics bandwagon fan of the crew.
Bandwagon? Let's
What did
chillax
you
on
make
that word.
of Boston closing it out last night? It was kind of close at points, right?
Yeah.
But putting their foot down, closing it out, and now moving on to face Philadelphia.
They were definitely playing with their food for a little bit. There was a lot of defensive adjustments that needed to be made in the first half, and I'm glad to see that they did make that in the second half. They found out a way to neutralize Trae Young completely. He had 25 points in the first half. I think he had 9 in the second half, so they found a way to quiet him down. DeJounte Murray did wake up a little bit in the second half, but I think it comes down to, again, the Hawks just didn't have enough help around Trae Young, even though John Collins balled out. I love seeing him kind of almost just like pump his chest to the crowd. You know, dealing with all those trade rumors before. I really like to see him feel like he's part of the team. But I think the Celtics just showed the experience, and it really came through towards the very end. It was definitely close, and it seemed like they might make this a series. But they already kind of had. But the Celtics still were just like towards the very end. A championship team, or the one that wants to win one, is very close to it, figures out how to win a game, and that's exactly what they did.
Jelani, I want to talk to you about from the Atlanta perspective, because when you look at the box score, right, the Atlanta starting 5 was respectively -8, -15, -13, -11, and -13. So that's a whole lot of buckets they're giving up. Yeah. When you look at the Atlanta Hawks, right, they have Trae Young, of course, who had all these rumors swirling around about his future in Atlanta. DeJounte Murray, it didn't really mesh that well. DeAndre Hunter, who I think has the skill set to be a really good player in the NBA, but can never seem to put it together. As Noor mentioned, John Collins is always in trade rumors. He never really has felt stable in Atlanta. Where do the Hawks go from here now that they had... Look, they won a game or two more than a lot of people expected them, but... Again, another disappointing season for Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, I want to see what they do in terms of surrounding talent around Trae Young. Obviously, that's how you're going to be a player in the Eastern Conference, right? And you got a new coach now. Remember that, too. So what does Quinn Snyder want? What does he want his team to look like? You saw the teams that he coached in Utah. Usually they had good benches. So I think that, and he had shooters. So I think with the shooting, they might want to get more of that in Atlanta, because we saw at times it wasn't there aside from outside of Trae Young, obviously. So they might want to, key in on that. And then defensively, I think defense has to be a real focus for Atlanta, because at times throughout this series, right? I get it. Like, those are stars, Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum. But at times they just had really bad stretches in terms of covering those guys and dealing with other guys, like Horford. They let him have open looks. Smart, he got going at times this series. Derek White. So they're going to have to really key in on those two areas. I'd probably say look more for defense, because we know what they could do offensively. The past few years, they've had, somewhat of, a powerful offense at times, but the defense has been the question at Atlanta. So that might be the question, moving forward. Can they solidify their bench in terms of defense and even their starting lineup too?
No, it's very true, because even I know Trae Young's like 5'3", but he needs to play a little bit of defense. Watching him on the defensive end,
he's not
5'3",
but
you know what I'm saying.
You're speaking hyperbolic
You know what I'm
terms.
saying.
So I'm just clarifying for people out there that don't.
I think they also understand that I'm speaking in jokes.
You'd
Justin.
be surprised.
Thanks a
You'd
lot.
be surprised about how.
Okay, next
smart
time I'll
people
put
are
a
online.
disclaimer out for my joke, guys. Sorry. Okay, I'll keep you guys posted. But I think it's watching him on defense. I get it. He's a short guy. Maybe he's not going to be able to stop the biggest guys on the court. But at least put the effort in. At least show your team that you're willing to play on both ends, even if you get stomped over or whatever. But it's the effort part, and maybe you'll end up drawing a charge. You never know. Him watching everybody run past him has been. He's great offensively, but you got to do something defensively too.
It's going to be interesting. Landry Fields and the Atlanta Hawks will have a bunch of questions go into this offseason that will need to be answered. Again, coaching staff, Quinn Snyder is now the guy, but how do they fill out that roster and they build around them? Let's go to the Eastern Conference Finals preview between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, look, for those of you out there, I'm joking.
Yes.
I think this is the Eastern
Another
Conference
disclaimer?
Finals. That's a disclaimer for all you people out there that think that,
We don't-
what is this guy talking about? He doesn't know basketball. Well, I'm just joking around, okay?
Be secure in
The
yourself.
Sixers will look to win their first playoff series since when? Do you guys want to know the answer?
I do
Take
know
a
the
guess. Take a
answer.
guess. I want to ask.
I know the
When was the
answer.
last time the Sixers beat the Celtics in a playoff series?
I think it's been like 10 years, 11 years.
Sorry. Why was I was thinking the question was about the last time they were in the conference finals.
When was the last time the
The
Sixers?
Sixers beat the Celtics
in
in
a
a
playoff
series?
They've played the most out of any Eastern Conference team together.
I'd say had to be a couple years ago.
The last time the Sixers beat the Celtics?
No, I'm gonna go with like a 20,
I think never, almost.
2011 or something.
2011?
Like early 2010s.
I said 10, 11 years.
The Sixers will seek to win their first playoff series over the Celtics in 41 years.
Damn.
The year was 1982, and that was the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, guys,
Never mind.
Joel
You
Embiid's
were
health
around for that
status.
long?
Yeah, Joel Embiid's health status is the biggest concern for me. Of course, he has a sprained LCL. Suffered that in Game 3 in the series against Brooklyn. How big, Noor, is Joel Embiid's health play? What big of the factors Embiid's health play in this series? Excuse me.
It's everything, and it's not just everything because I don't trust the people around him. I think Tyrese Maxey, I think even Tobias Harris, those guys have the ability to come through, and we've seen that happen while Joel Embiid was away, where you saw Tobias Harris come through and really take that lead, offensively. But I think I'm worried about even the spacing then, because if Embiid's not there and he's not healthy, or if he's not even up to par for his level, you no longer have that distraction for the defense for the opposite side, where you see James Harden open, you see Tyrese Maxey open, you see the offense being able to be spaced out, and without Embiid there, good luck. That's going to be tough for Philly. Actually, this is also a crazy series because it's like two teams that no one wants to cheer for. I mean, count me out of
That's
that.
kinda true.
Whoa.
That's true. No one likes
It's
these
true.
two teams.
Philly and
Embiid's going to be
Celtics.
crowned the MVP of the season.
whatever.
He's going to.
I think
go out
people
there.
hate Philly more than they hate the Celtics nowadays.
I don't know.
actually.
I don't know
Because
what-
plenty of people hate the Celtics.
I know, but
Plenty.
I guess.
Like,
Jalen
trust
Brown
me.
hates the Celtics. And he's on the Celtics.
Damn.
Okay, take it easy. Take it easy.
Trust me. A lot of people don't like Boston. So
No.
it's like I don't know.
Who would you rather, Boston or Philly?
Like you're asking me my prediction?
Yeah, give me your
Or you would
prediction.
like?
Well,
No,
I-
hold off on the prediction. Hold on.
Let me hold it. Let me hold it.
But who you would like to?
Hold off.
Okay,
hold
fine,
off, hold
fine,
off,
fine.
Hold off. Okay. There's a set schedule here that we're trying to
There's
go.
a rundown.
There's a rundown here. Jelani, I want to ask you this.
God
I
forbid.
think the biggest matchup is this. It's going to be Tyrese Maxey, James Harden versus Jalen Brown,
you.
Jason
I
Tatum.
was
That
gonna
right
bring that
there
up,
is
yep.
the key. Can Tyrese Maxey and James Harden not equal what the Killer Jays will do, but can they come close to it? And I think that will determine the series. How do you see that matchup playing out?
I was about to bring that up, right? So you have that Embiid thing, right? I get that, but I'm looking at James Harden this series. He's one of my favorite players to watch for sure, but I know what I get from him come playoff time. I know he's not the same James Harden from Houston, so we're not going to expect all of that. But especially if Embiid's not 100% healthy, he's got to show up offensively, okay? If that's the perimeter, he has to hit shots from down there. He might want to get in the paint as well because, against Brooklyn, he kind of struggled getting to the paint and finishing. Okay, so he's going to need to do that for sure against a team like Boston who got guys that could deal with Harden, right? And then you're talking about Tyrese Maxey. I think he's definitely the X factor in this series. We know what he's capable of, right? Look, I'm a Raptors fan. I know what he did to us last year, right? So I know what he's capable of, but at the same time, 4 games against Boston this year, he really struggled. Okay, he only put up 10 points. All right, he was only 35% from the field. He was 21% from downtown. He's got to find a way to show up this series. I get it. He's going to have to deal with guys like Derek White, like Marcus Smart, okay, like Jalen Brown. Those guys are going to be on him. But if you're telling me that the Sixers want to win this series, those are two guys you have to look at, especially Tyrese Maxey. James Harden, I do trust in this series. I think he knows, right? He knows that if he can be him, if he could be capable of that all-star caliber player, I felt like he was an all-star this year in my estimation. If he's that, then they have a better shot. But Tyrese Maxey, he's a young guy. He's a younger player, so he's going to have to show up in this big moment.
Okay, guys, now's the time we've all been waiting for. Prediction time. Noor, you
we know.
Who wins this series, how many games, and what?
I'm taking the Celtics.
No
in
way.
six.
And
No
Celtics
way.
and what?
Celtics in 6.
Okay.
Celtics in 6. I think they just have a deeper roster. They've got everything put together. It did scare me a little bit when they went up against the Hawks and they kind of were playing around, but I think they can do this here.
Who was your finals pick again?
The Bucks.
And?
No comment.
Okay.
It's too soon.
So take any stock into that prediction as you want. Jelani, your
Shut
prediction?
It's okay. The team I thought was the Bucks winning the East are
Yeah.
out. I got the Celtics in this series in 7 games. The one thing, real quick, coaching matchup. Missoula has to show up here. There's no excuse for Coach Missoula.
I mean, he's going up against Doc Rivers. I think.
And
That's the thing. Yeah.
I'm going to be going with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Shocker!
Joel Embiid is the MVP. He will break through and go to the conference finals. Now, quickly, before we have to finish, let's go to the other series in the East, which, again, is actually might be a better basketball. All the storylines. The New York Knicks, their electric crowd, face off against Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Guys, quickly, name me one player who's really going to be the key to this series for each team, and then give me your prediction.
Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler also because he loves to play at when the lights are the brightest. And where are the lights that are the brightest, Jelani?
Madison Square Garden.
There we
Mecca.
go. Who goes at Madison Square Garden actually should be a flaw for the Knicks because players go there to have a big night. Opposite,
A flaw?
Flaw?
yeah, like it shouldn't even be like a home court advantage for them because you know
You
what I
see
mean.
that
Like,
crowd?
listen to what I'm saying. Players go there to have big nights. They want to go and show off in Madison Square
Except
Garden
Donovan
at the
Mitchell.
Mecca.
Ah, damn.
Okay, relax.
Too soon. I'm looking at Bam Adebayo. Okay, he showed up in that do or die game for the Bucks. You know, obviously they didn't show up, but Bam showed up in that game 5. Okay, he gave you that triple double, and even game 1 he had a nice game. 20. He had like 20 plus 7 and 9. So if Bam Adebayo could show up here, he's gonna have to deal with guys like Mitchell Robinson on the other side, who had a great series against the Cavs. I'm looking at him, and it cannot just be Jimmy Butler. I know it's usually just Jimmy, but if you got a guy like Bam has a good series, they have a much better opportunity to win this series.
You know the Pop Smoke song, I'm the King of New York, Mellow?
Yes.
Right? The King of New York is now going to be Jalen Brunson because he's the key to this series. Jalen Brunson has been an all-star all season. I'm going to push that agenda. Jalen Brunson will lead the New York Knicks to the Eastern
Orange
Conference
and blue
Finals.
skies.
Game 7 at the Garden. Jalen Brunson leads the New York Knicks to their first Eastern Conference Finals since 1999.
Jeez.
Well, the NBA has been making people look stupid this playoff, so let's see what we see how we come to.
What was your prediction in that series?
I said Heat. Oh, I said I'm gonna say Heat in 6 as well.
Heat in 6?
Heat in 6 or 7.
Okay.
Jimmy's one of my favorite players in this league. I can't go against him, but I will. Knicks in 7.
These guys, these two share a brain. I'm the one who brings a different type of
You
flavor
said
to
Knicks,
Hoop
didn't
Talks.
Yeah, Knicks in 7.
Oh, you said Knicks.
Do you
What are you talking about? I said Jimmy's one of my favorite players, but I have to use my mind here. The Knicks have a good squad.
As a host,
is
you
this guy
gotta
talking- what is
listen.
this guy talking
You gotta
about?
listen.
Knicks in 7.
My bad. You know, it's my world, my block, my world, my.
Oh, just wrap up the show.
My interpretation.
Well, that was a rough ending. Let's see what happens in the world of basketball and starting the second round. This has been Hoop Talks. Maybe you'll see me back on Monday.